Autumn in Virginia. In the days and weeks leading up to Halloween, it's common to see homes and businesses decorated with ghosts and ghouls. But 20 years ago this month, people across the Commonwealth were living in fear because of monsters that were all too real.
It's kind of freaky even just standing here. I'm thinking, what's behind me? Did I look?
I think you got to be kind of real sick to do something like this.
Whenever we see a police vehicle now, we think, my God, there's been another shooting.
You never know what this person's going to come to next. Really have to watch.
For 3 weeks in October of 2002, our region was terrorized by a serial sniper. A series of seemingly indiscriminate shootings targeting men, women, and children. Many of the victims hit at gas stations.
He's just picking people off at random, and we're not comfortable riding through this area at all.
The killings began Wednesday, October 2nd, when a man was gunned down while crossing a parking lot in Montgomery County, Maryland. The next day, there were 4 more deadly shootings in that county and a 5th in Washington, D.C.
Senseless. And it's evil.
Then on October 4th, the sniper struck in Virginia.
The Sheriff's Department says a Spotsylvania County woman was shot in the back as she loaded craft she bought from Michael's in the back of a minivan.
That woman, Caroline Sewell, was the first victim to survive. But she would not be the last one caught in the crosshairs. Over the next 2 weeks, 4 more people would be shot, including Kenneth Bridges, the Philadelphia man killed while pumping gas at the Spotsylvania Exxon, the most brazen attack yet.
With a uniformed trooper directly across the street, obviously we're dealing with an individual that's extremely violent and obviously doesn't care.
Bridges' murder also intensified the search for a white van or box truck, which several witnesses had reported seeing near some of the shooting scenes.
It does have a roll-up door in the rear.
At the time, the Exxon shooting was the nearest crime scene to Richmond.
Quite frankly, it's just scary. It's really scary that it's just this close to home.
That all changed the night of Saturday, October 19th.
You're watching the News 6 Network. This is News 6 Weekend.
Nation's eyes are on Ashland, Virginia, after a shooting in a restaurant parking lot off I-95.
The sniper was now in our own backyard. Just before 8 o'clock, a Florida man named Jeffrey Hopper was shot in the abdomen while walking to his car after dining with his wife at the Ponderosa Steakhouse on England Street.
We are located right across the street from the scene. You can see dozens of police cars behind me.
Within a matter of minutes, local roads were blocked and exits up and down the interstate were closed.
Attempt to hold the individual or individuals in check was put into place, and we think it was effective, and we will continue to use that operation.
The next day, we learned this was no copycat crime.
We can and do confirm at this time that the ballistics evidence recovered during our investigation has been matched with the other shooting cases.
Hopper survived, and the evidence recovered would prove crucial to solving this case. That included a letter found tacked to a tree in the woods near the restaurant, a threatening message to law enforcement that contained a chilling postscript.
Your children are not safe anywhere at any time.
Those words led to schools being shut down across central Virginia.
It's a deranged person who needs to be caught.
Person shot, 924 McDonough Street.
John, where are we going?
We are going to the south side, the Manchester area, for a shooting. So when I first started, it was pretty hot, especially on the south side. It was pretty hot with crime. And we were kind of in the range of, 60 or 70 homicides in a year. But last year, man, was
at the stop sign,
by far.
McDonough Street, then arrive at your destination.
Last year was by far the most violent that I've seen us have in a long, long time, at least 15 years. The woman I spoke with off camera says she grabbed her kids this evening, ducked, and ran to the back of her home, adding, it sounded like the gunfire was getting louder and louder. Richmond again continuing their streak of violence. Every shooting in RVA from now until the new year means padding a new record. 239 people shot in the city was the overall record. That used to be the record. All right. They tell you anything, Ben? But where are they at?
Go over here. I can tell you. I can bring you over there.
Okay. So we're gonna go over there because Ben has got us hooked up with two girls that have a Ring camera with the audio on it. Hey ladies, how are you? Can I interview you real quick? Brittany, you're walking outside today, and what did you hear?
About 7 gunshots, like literally as soon as I opened my door.
You look kind of rattled.
I mean, yeah, I've been here for like 5 years now, and I've never seen anything like this.
I've never in my life been so terrified, like at all.
Broad daylight.
Broad daylight, like at a spot that we come to all the time.
All right, guys, still have some detectives, some patrol, some folks in the major crimes unit here still on scene in South Richmond. Crime Insider sources filling me in lately saying 2 people shot here. They were actually shot inside the building, I'm told. Hey man, what's going on?
Keep up the good work, man.
Thanks, brother, appreciate it. Be careful. All right, so we'll go the back way into Mosby, and then we'll cross over into Wickham. These are places where I've spent a significant portion of my career. I was covering 5 people shot one day. One man, we're told by police, died here on scene, and they were shooting the street right over next to me. From where I'm standing, we actually heard the shots as the police were working that scene. This is Fairfield Court. Fairfield Court, Fawp Street. I've covered many homicides on Fawp. So you saw what we just did, right? Cross railroad tracks, up the hill, bang, we're in Gilpin. Findle, I think Garland's the next one up.
What happened here, John?
So this house right here is where the little girl was in her bassinet. Dad owed drug dealers some money. Drug dealers came by, sprayed the house with an AK-47. Bullet went through the house into the bassinet, hit the little girl, she died. She was 23 months at the time. Her name was Kayla Brown, and I will never forget it because I was on scene when they brought her body out in a pillowcase. And you can see how much it affects me. We're 20 years past that? And I remember every detail about that night, who she was, her name, her age. And I can remember coming home and hugging her tight and just thinking, my God. That's when you hear the question why, and it tests your faith. There's been several cases where I've gone home and wept a little bit, cried, and you try and cry it out. But, you know, I don't think there's weakness in that. Families look to you to keep the story alive or to, you know, make sure their loved one doesn't die in vain.